Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another video. This is the long-awaited video that I've promised you guys, which is all about typecasting. So typecasting is basically the ability to convert a value from one data type to another. So basically x right here is an integer. As you guys can tell, it's just a number without quotation marks and it does not have a floating point, so it's an integer. Y is a float since it has a decimal. And then you have z, which is it doesn't really matter the decimal because it's in quotes. So since it's in quotes, that means it's a string. So if I remove this, it's still a string. Okay, okay. So all right, moving on. So basically, I've already declared three variables: x, y, and z, integer, float, and string. So typecasting, like we said, is the ability to convert a value from one data type to another. So basically you can convert this integer into another type of data type. So it could be you could move it from you could change it from an integer into a string or a float or whatever you want. So basically, obviously not a boolean because a boolean is only true or false. So in this case we're going to convert it to a float. So to convert it to a float, basically, all you need to do is, it's pretty simple. X equals to float, and then you just pass in x again, and there we go, it's a float. So if I turn this into a comment right here, if I say print x, it'll just print 1. But if I take this off, move this here, print x, it'll be 1.0. As you can see, it's a float now because we changed it from one data type to another. You could also change it from, instead of an integer or a float, to a string like we said, but string you don't type in string, you just type str, and then there you go. It just says 1, but it's not gonna print the quotation mark, so you can't really tell it's a string right now. But there's a way to do it, which is type, and then you pass in x. No, that's not it. Hold on. Sorry. Print and then type, and basically it'll tell you that it's a string. It's in the string class. Okay, so you could do that for other things as well, like print type, and then you can put in, say, y, and it'll tell you that it's a float. As you can see here, let me turn these into a string, into comments. You run it again, it tells you that it is a float. Y is a float. That's how you can basically check what type of data type whatever your variable is. What else? Okay, moving on. You can also do another thing, which is say print. Let me show you something. Print z. As you guys know, z is 3.0. It's a string. But here's where it gets tricky. If you do z times 3, you get 3.0 3 times. But that's not what we want. We don't want it 3 times, we want to multiply by 3. So to multiply by 3, again, you use typecasting. You could either turn it into a float, or you could turn it to an integer, because with these two things, they're both numeric data types, so it will accept a mathematical equation or expression, you could say. So, but it doesn't do that with a string. With a string, it'll just repeat itself 3 times. So again, this is where also typecasting comes in handy. So you type, we could turn it, let's say, float, and then run it again, you get 9.0. If you make it an integer, you run it again, okay, so since it's 3.0, sorry, you can't do that, but if it's 3 and you run it, then you get 9. but since it's because it was 3.0 and 3.0 doesn't accept it, because integers don't have a decimal point, so that's why it didn't work. So yeah, that's all about typecasting. I hope you guys enjoyed this very short and quick lesson. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and tune in next time where we will cover more Python.